Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Brad. Hello,
I
Brad.
feel like we're paying our comeuppance for the last couple of weeks of having like light stories and being able to just like point and mock things and things of that nature. So
yeah, welcome to the battle for Los Angeles. I guess is the
you know what? It's not as good as Evil Empire, but I'm a fan of that album as well. So
yeah, it's not as good, but it's still
yeah.
Evil Empire.
We should ask Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan, I'm sure, has opinions on this.
He's like, finally we can rage against. Wait, what's the machine? Am I the machine?
It's me.
Yes, Paul, you are in fact the machine. Yeah, look, we dropped an episode on Monday. It is Tuesday, and we're recording at least on Tuesday, so it'll be out on Wednesday. Look, it was imperative for us we could not wait, right? Because there's just too much happening right now. Obviously, the issues going on in LA, that's the big story. But there is a lot of other shit going on. So let's jump right into it. Look, this all started in Los Angeles, basically from the idea of we're just going to send ICE into Los Angeles. And
interesting that you think that this started in Los Angeles. Well, personally, I think it started in Minneapolis in 2020.
Oh, fair enough. Yes, with the George Floyd protest. Yeah, I mean, one could make the argument that seeing that Trump was like, I have got to figure out a more violent way of handling.
Well, not only seeing that, but you remember, like, Trump was in office at that time, and they worked very hard to convince Americans that, like, because like you guys remember, like, oh, fucking Portland's on fire, Seattle's on fire, Nashville's on fire, like all these fucking protests going on that Republicans were trying to make out to be bigger than they were. And people just like look back at it and they're just like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is normal protests. Like, we're not being violent. Like, the violence happens when the authorities come. And for those protests, it was just local law enforcement, and that was participating in those things. And so the Republicans saw that, felt that they were denied the rightful moment to like crack down on otherwise peaceful protests. And so, yeah, to your point, like Trump's like, oh, we're going to ratchet it up this time around. And we've been seeing, with these ICE raids, and you made the astute point last episode that this is only happening in blue cities, blue states. They're certainly not going into Dallas or Houston or, Miami or, places like that, even though I'm sure that the targets for ICE are ripe in those areas as well, I would imagine.
Miami? Are you sure?
Yeah, just call it a hunch. But no, they're hyper focusing on blue cities. LA specifically,
sanctuary cities,
right? Sanctuary cities. LA specifically, kind of a history of violence from authorities, rather famous history, which is really fucking. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, it's so weird to me that like the Rodney King and the LA riots happened like over 30 years ago. So like no one that's in the LAPD today was probably in the LAPD like then. And yet the culture is still exactly the same. Like, when people talk about how institutions are poisoned, this is exactly the kind of shit we're talking about. Like, we are 2 generations removed from this very famous historical example of cop violence in this country. And the police department's fucking exactly the same, joining in with ICE to try to fucking tamp this shit down.
I mean,
and by tamp it down, I mean escalate it.
Escalate. I mean, there's that video. I don't know if you've seen this of was it Australian journalist,
reporter.
She's out there and she's like giving her report to the camera, and just like a dude in LAPD is just like, boop, hits her, shoots her with a rubber bullet for no reason. She's not doing anything. She's nowhere near him, and he literally just standing in line turns to her and fires. You can see it in fucking 4K.
Right.
Why?
And it's so funny that like the stance from the right when this first started is, oh, woe is ICE, right? Because this has been building, this has been building up to this specific moment where ICE, the ICE presence has grown steadily, that people know where they are, that people are starting to come out forcefully protest against them when they show up in town, in cities and stuff like that. And so this is all just to say, oh, woe is ICE. They're just doing their jobs. Like, they shouldn't be subjected to this, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, like, Trump and his goons, you're marching these people out to specifically and fucking them over as well. Like, that's the funny thing about people that are just like, oh, what was ICE? If it wasn't for the fact that they were sociopathic assholes, because who the fuck would do that job knowing what that job is right now, I would feel a little sorry for them, because they are just as big a pawns in this as anybody else is. Now, they're choosing to be pawns by just following orders, the excuse that was trotted out by ICE leadership over the weekend.
Really Nurembergish.
Yeah, I'm gonna say just read a history book, just one, just read one.
You don't even have to, bro.
Well,
like, there's movies, like there are movies. Like you don't even have to be good at reading. Look, what's happening in LA is, to watch it on the news is, I have to say, is like, it's incredibly anger-inducing for me.
To watch it on the news is anger-inducing. I want to be very explicitly clear about that point specifically. To watch it on the news is anger-inducing, because once again, the news is falling down on the job and giving cover to this administration by covering these events with the narrative scope that the administration desires them to. Because if you actually go on social media and actually view posts and stuff like that from people on the ground, like, is there some pockets of like violent uprising and like Waymos being set on fire and shit like that? Yeah, absolutely, that's fucking happening. But the vast majority of peaceful protests,
fuck those caps.
Yeah, whatever. The vast majority of peaceful protest is like very peaceful. Like, there's videos of people like fucking doing like massive line dances in the middle of like downtown LA and shit like that. And, they're holding up traffic on the 405 as you do. Like, that's the kind of normal protest shit. And nothing underscores the fact more that like Republicans are trying to be out here on the Sunday shows being like, LA's on fire. Like, we need to pull out all the stops to fucking keep LA from burning down. You know what happened this past weekend in LA, Jay?
Pride?
Pride happened this past weekend in LA. Summer Game Fest, which is basically like the E3 substitute, happened this weekend in LA. And WWE
which I don't know but a lot of people, I mean, Brad, I know you're a video game person, so you're going to try to like not admit this. 10,000 people died at that event. Like, during the
well, you got to keep that under wraps. And WWE held a pay-per-view.
Oh, really? That's
over this weekend.
How could they have possibly done all of that?
Right, like without any like nothing from the wrestlers. Be like, oh man, like really crazy outside on the streets right now. Like, had to duck into the arena.
That's 2 blocks, and
it's a normal fucking day in LA.
But the funny thing is, initially the LAPD was like, "We're good. Like, we don't need anybody else here." So much to the point, and the reason why I brought up Pride when you asked what was happening this weekend, it was such a non-issue that like 45 cops in the LAPD were in the Pride parade. They were just like, no, we're just going to go to we're going to be involved in that. They were like, yeah, it's good. Like, don't worry about it. We got it. Like, they weren't like, we need backup. Get off that fucking pink float. Like, come on, Rob. Like, no, they were all like having a good time. It was fine, right? Community building or whatever, as you probably persecute those people on Monday. But I'm not a fan of cops. But it clearly was not that big of a deal. Right? There were people who were pissed because your run-of-the-mill ICE people are grabbing people off the street. Understandable. I saw that footage like just online, right? Not on news. But I agree with you. Like, watching it on the news is deeply anger-inducing, right? And it's because of the whole narrative thing, right? Like, here's a narrative, and they just go, oh, okay, we'll fucking follow that, right? Which is pathetic and annoying. But also, aside from that, when the thing started to escalate, and when I say escalate, I mean escalating from the government side, right?
Mm-hmm.
the federal government sends in what 2,000 National Guard, right? They basically
specifically, by the way, commandeers control of the National Guard from
the government.
Gavin Newsom, who's the governor, who's supposed to be in charge of the National Guard.
Because in order to deploy the National Guard in any state, yes, the president has the right to do it, but it is with the express fucking thumbs up from the governor of said state.
If you were curious about this, I seem to remember a specific event back on January 6, 2021, where the president at the time tried to say that, I can't call in the National Guard because that's up to the person running the local municipality. So I have nothing.
Or that it was Nancy Pelosi's fault, by the way. Right. She's the one who stopped me. I'm like, does Nancy Pelosi have more power than you? That seems weird. Incidentally, Nancy Pelosi tweeted out today. She was like, that's interesting about the National Guard. And all the comments were like, she needs to retire. But I'm like, did you I get it. Yeah, I also think she needs to retire. But her point is very good. Can we fucking knock it off for 2 seconds? Her point is very good, which is, I thought you couldn't control the National Guard. It turns out that you fucking can, right? So thus your January 6th thing is utter bullshit, right? As if anybody paying attention is right.
As if we had to be told. It'd be cool if the press could circle back to that moment maybe, but of course they can't see, further than the week preceding and week ahead, unless of course it concerns the mental acuity of Joe Biden. Jay, have you heard that Joe Biden may have been?
I heard Joe Biden got lost, and he's in LA right now. He's very confused.
Right.
So that happens, right? 2,000 National Guard folks are called up, right? California National Guard. Then Pete Hegseth is on the news saying, "Hey, we got Marines standing by, baby. We're fucking ready to roll," which is illegal. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I was just to fucking point
that. I in all of the fucking headlines that I've seen about hey, they're going to deploy the Marines. Somehow, that fact, even in left-leaning headlines, the story that you have here is from the Daily Beast, and their headline is "Trump orders in Marines and dramatic escalation of LA protest."
Illegal.
Just say it's illegal in the fucking headline, man. How are we skipping over this aspect of this?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Posse comitatus is a thing, right? You are not allowed to deploy American military troops on domestic grounds. The only sort of end around to that is if there is an invasion, right?
Which is the excuse that the rationale that they're trying to gin up, right, because some of the protesters are sporting Mexican flags. Right. So Jay, clearly your country has come up north.
Here we go, baby.
We're taking California, and so they're saying that's how it makes it okay to deploy the Marines to LA.
Look, as a side note, don't do that. Okay, I get it. I got no issues with being prideful from where you come from. You're going to be used as the worst version of propaganda to hurt your people more. You don't need to fly Mexican flags. That's a bad idea, man. It is. It's just bad idea. Period. That's a bad idea. Not because you shouldn't be prideful about where you come from. I got zero fucking issues with that. But flying that flag in the middle of that situation, not a good look. It's just not a good look. And I'm not saying you gotta I gotta fly the American flag because throw away my culture. I'm not saying any of that.
I think you should. I think you should though. I'm just saying to give the impetus for these guys, because if they say that and they get away with it and they allow them to put the military on the street, that is a different conversation altogether. And that will not be hey, we're going to just round these guys up and just put them on buses. That's not where that situation goes. Not likely. So that's what I'm saying. That's a bad idea. I'm not saying you throw away your culture. I'm not saying any of that. And I'm not mad at you for doing it.
But I would argue there are smarter ways. Look, you want to do it. You want to do it in a way that brings your culture together and America in a way that really fucking would piss them off.
Mm-hmm.
Put the flags together.
Yeah.
Do a half American flag, half Mexican flag.
That'll
really piss them off.
Or fly like a red, white, and green American flag. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
Probably Amazon or some shit.
Yeah.
But like something to that degree that says, yeah, motherfucker, I am of Mexican heritage, but I'm also an American, right? Or I'm also in America. That's what you do. But if you fly the flag of a foreign nation, I understand your argument, but they will use that in a way that you do not intend.
Right.
And if
which they're trying to do right now.
So that's my only thing. Otherwise, look, fucking no notes, man. I saw, all these people getting shot with tear gas and all this other stuff, and then off the bridge, people are just dropping rocks on police cars. I was like, rewind. I'd like to watch that again. Fuck those cops. We're like, fuck them. Who cares? They're all been fine. I saw, some of the ICE agents were in a Mexican restaurant of all places. Fuck you. And they're like,
did you hear what some of those ICE agents?
I'm like, well, the protesters don't have tear gas.
Did you hear what they were doing over the weekend?
No.
So, like, of course, because this administration can't plan anything wisely in advance, and they just kind of shoot from the hip constantly. No pun intended. So, like, all of these dudes are just like staying in, like, they didn't coordinate with any local military bases and stuff like that. Yeah. So they're all staying in just like hotels in the area. They were trying to, like.
By the way, most of them are just in federal buildings. Like, they're just.
Well, now they are, because a lot of the ICE agents were trying to, like, fucking check the status of, like, the hotel staff in the hotels.
Oh, fuck
that
off.
They were staying in, and when the management caught wind of that shit, they were just like, get the fuck out. Like, we're not fucking doing this shit.
You're gonna dude, these people are like letting you stay there, and now you're gonna be like, oh well, let's see if we can, like, dude.
Right, and so now they get to sleep in parking garages and shit like that. Good job. Wonder where the Marines are going to sleep if they make it into town.
Oh no, they're I believe they're also stuck in federal buildings as well, with no food, no water, and no orders.
Great.
So
what a fantastic situation to put the guys with the guns in.
Yeah, let them be angry, thirsty, and hungry, and trigger happy, because everybody knows you get a little bit more edgy when you haven't eaten, you haven't properly rested, and then you send them out in the street. See what happens.
Either that, or we have either that's going to happen, or we're just going to drive a truck through a couple other constitutional amendments. You know how no one's ever thought about the Third Amendment ever.
Yeah, right. They tried that. Remember, they tried that in D.C. and everyone's like, finally, we get to use it, baby. Number 3, let's fucking go.
Look,
like,
it's a Third Amendment absolutist. I'd love to see them try it with me.
Third Amendment.
I'm always saying.
I've long said I stand firmly on making sure military personnel are not forced to stay in my home.
That's right. No quartering in my house.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I will not stand for it. Fuck these people. So yeah, look, the shit in Los Angeles it makes me sad. It really does. But also, like, it gives me a sense of pride, I have to say, because I see already, I see people being like, enough of this shit. And
well, not only that, but it's like because it's almost kind of it's a bit ironic in a way, because I think that one thing that the Republican Party has actually done really well, especially in the Trump era, is they've leveraged social media effectively to their benefit.
Yeah, that's largely true.
And and the ironic thing about this situation is they're benefiting a lot right now from the way that the news is covering the situation like inaccurately. But social media is not. Like, I'm sure people are on TikTok or Instagram and shit like that. Like, a lot of people are seeing what's actually happening. Like, they're seeing what the protesters are actually doing. They're seeing how they're being impacted by law enforcement. And that's going to just galvanize more people. And again, like, he's trying to time this. I think part of this, like, I think this would have happened anyway, maybe not this weekend. Obviously, like, the Musk fallout I'm sure kind of is an impetus for some of this.
100%. Stop talking about that shit.
I think the other impetus for it is what's going on this weekend.
Yes.
Where we're having the fucking goose step, strongman parade.
Yep.
Which is being countered by thousands of protests around the country.
Yeah.
And those protests are only going to grow. Like, this motherfucker's out here being like, oh, like, if anyone protests during the parade, like, they'll be met with heavy force. I'm like, dude, you're just asking for more people to get the fuck out in the streets. Like, do you not know how this works? Like, do you not understand this?
If you decide that your birthday fucking douche parade is where you're going to try to lay the hammer down on protesting, not raids that people are like angry about and so they protest in response to it, but people just out in the streets doing their regular shit, and you decide that that's where you're going to crack down. Look, I understand that he is not a student of anything, certainly not a student of history. But if you remember the Pettus Bridge march with John Lewis, where he got his fucking head cracked and all this other shit, that was a massive turning moment in the civil rights. A lot of people may or may not know that. And the reason why is because of television. And it's like, beating up black people, whatever. People are just like, man, I don't know. Is it happening? Like, you know how those people lie, right? Type of shit. And then that shit happened, and it was in fucking color TV, and people were like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, these kids are in fucking Sunday best, and they're getting fucking beat up by cops on horses. And it seemed insane to fucking people watching, because it was. So if you decide that that's what you want to do, that your little birthday fucking bonanza, if that gets interrupted by people just protesting, not interrupting the parade, but just protesting right near it and being loud, and they fucking will be, right? Because
about to say, is that really, like, do you really want, is that the 2 block that you really want on the news, is the military parade in one quadrant and like police throwing like fucking tear gas and shit like that, and protesters in the other? Like, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work out well for you the way you think it is.
Right. Because this idea of the LA thing, you could try, and they're not doing a very good job of it, but they're like trying to manipulate the narrative, right? Like, they've got their little fucking bots and shit sending out like videos of perceived violence, and they're like from different cities. They're not even from, LA at all. They're not even around this time.
Not even from this year. Yeah.
Right. They're like multiple years ago. It's like from a hockey fucking like post Stanley Cup event. And they're like, look at they're burning cars. I'm like, those are just white kids fucking happy. Right. Like, because somehow that's acceptable. But, Brad's like, oh, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, that's why they greased the light poles in Philadelphia. So.
Okay. That's fucking hilarious to me. Philly is an interesting city, but if that's what you are trying to, like, if you think that that's going to go over well, you're very wrong, because that is the type of shit that people go, well, wait a minute, like this is like, you cannot like Joe Biden, you cannot like Democrats, you could prefer some other Republican or whatever, and like maybe you're like middle of the road on Trump. But if you see fucking people just being out there like, hey, this is what democracy looks like, and then you just see people getting fucking beaten, and then in this weird second quadrant, like fucking goose stepping military type of shit, there's a part of your brain that goes, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't look like us. And those things are not good for him. Now, I know some people are going to go, oh, people aren't going to give a fuck. It's ideas like that. There are moments like that drill into the psyche of people that people cannot shake. And people go, I don't like that thing. And that may spur them to get into the street. It may not. But those changes live in the hearts and minds of people, very, very real, like in a very real way. So
one of the things that doomed Democrats in the run up to 2024, and it's under talked about, and it's one of those things that, like, they were kind of fucked either way from this respect. is that it's incredible, even during the latter half of COVID, even weathering a global financial crisis, it's incredible how snapped back to normal things felt politically when Joe Biden came into office. And it helps people very quickly have short memories about what it was like when Trump was there.
Yeah, because
and the fact of the matter is that the people who got him into office are the people who aren't paying attention because it's easy for them to tune out when things are going as they're supposed to. When things are not going as they're supposed to, and when extraordinary things are happening like this, that's when those people tune back in. And to Jay's point, the reaction's not like, ooh, this is a new and exciting direction that America is headed in. Like the reaction is, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. It's what happened around George Floyd. And it's one of the things that, because again, like the George Floyd footage, like, was spread out far and wide. Like, people got to see that whole situation of fucking Derek Chauvin leaning on that dude's neck, hearing him say, "I can't breathe," and all that other shit. Like, that kind of shocked people into consciousness. Like, having Trump, having his fucking jackbooted dickheads, like, clearing a path to the fucking church in DC so he could hold a Bible upside down is stuff that got fucking noticed. And the more attention you draw to this shit, the worse off it's going to be in the long run. And again, Trump isn't necessarily going to pay the price for that because he's playing with house money right now.
Right.
But
the
party as a whole will.
Absolutely. 100%. So yeah, I mean, people need to understand what this situation is. Let's talk about Gavin Newsom. I'm going to cue up this clip, but Gavin Newsom is like, look, motherfucker, like, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to fight. You buying any of this? Because I have to tell you, I'm skeptical.
Well, I'll tell you this. So here's and you and I were talking about this before the show. Here's the problem with Gavin Newsom, right? Gavin Newsom has, in the last, basically during the Trump administration, has exposed himself as being a man without principles. He's exposed himself as being a weather vane on certain issues. Like it's not like he's like fully kowtowing to the right or anything like that, but he's certainly identifying areas where he thinks is politically advantageous for him to move to the center because he wants to be president in 2028. And so I think that we have to look at Gavin Newsom with an eye of skepticism. But this Gavin Newsom is the guy that Jay and I were quite enamored with for the last several years when Gavin Newsom is being a fucking asshole.
Yeah, no, he is. Look, we've said this on the show. He is an asshole for our side. Like that's just, it is what it is, right? Yeah. People are like, oh, the Democrats need a Trump. I mean, the difference between Gavin Newsom and Trump is that Gavin Newsom is not an idiot. Like, he's actually quite smart.
And he's disciplined.
Right. But he's savvy, right? Like, I think what people want is they want a savvy guy who can come off as like, he can be a fucking viper when you need him to be, but he can also fucking schmooze you when you need him to be. I think that's what largely when people say Democrats need a Trump. In that regard, he is Democrats Trump, right? Because he can be an absolute viper when he needs to be. Remember that debate he had with Ron DeSantis? Jesus Christ, he destroyed Ron DeSantis' career. It was over. He destroyed it. And they weren't even, one of them is running for president and the other one wasn't. And he destroyed him. It was like, and I'll be back.
The other one was doing it for fun.
Doing it for the love of the game, right? You got to respect that. Like, Jesus Christ. But him running to the center with this, like, I'm going to do this podcast that apparently he's being helped with by his ex-wife, Kimberly Guilfoyle. Puke.
That's very funny. I did not know that, but that's very funny.
Yeah. No, I saw an article about that. She's like, oh, I can help get those people involved. He's like, why are you talking to her? Look at her, dude. She's gone. She's not the woman you married. My God. Like they literally look like two different people. But his pivot to the center with having like Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk on his podcast and shit like that, and not not particularly challenging them, but more so being like, that's an interesting perspective. No, neither one of them have interesting perspectives about anything. Okay, I can guarantee you. I listened to Charlie Kirk say in a clip the other day how if two college kids, a boy and a girl, are 5 drinks into a night and they're like hooking up, and then the girl is like, yeah, I'm good, I actually don't want to have sex. He was like, that's a gray area. No, it's not, Charlie Kirk.
I mean, I guess it is when you're Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, like that's not a gray area, bro.
Hey, I'm just based on facts and evidence. I'm just saying Charlie Kirk might be pro-rape, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Based on the arguments that he's making, I would say so. I don't like that guy. To say it, put it mildly. So, and obviously Steve Bannon is, I don't know. I mean, what can I say about Steve Bannon that hasn't already been said about Baron Harkonnen millions of times? Okay. So
God, he'd probably love to get one of those floating chairs, wouldn't he? He'd be all about it.
Like, just walk, use your legs, you lazy piece of shit. Dune's a good movie though. But all that being said, I don't like any of that shit, and it feels like your point. He doesn't have any fucking principles. He's just trying to fucking ride the middle.
And by the way, he's smart. He is smart to pivot to the center and even slightly to the right, because the center is what wins presidential elections. He's doing it because he wants to be president. 1000%. You don't have to like that I'm saying that, but it's fucking true.
Look, I don't like that you're saying that. It makes me sad. But yes, there absolutely is some truth to that, right? To an extent, right? Because I think you can over promise to those guys.
Yeah.
And then you end up alienating liberals, and it's like you need them. You need them
to come out. You need them to come out too. Like you need to figure out the red meat that you can throw to both sides of the bases. And I will tell you that the clip that we're going to play is the kind of red meat that you can easily throw to liberals to be like, yeah, like this is their fucking guy. And
I got to tell you, like when this video hit and I was on Reddit reading it, that shit was working for people. People were like, that's my boy. Hell yeah. I was like, oh, are we? We're back on the Newsom train? Okay. until
he has Tom Homan on his podcast, and they can just hash it out.
Yeah, he's like, my best friend, Tom Homan. Like, fucking come on, man. All right, so here's a clip of Gavin Newsom. He is talking to an MSNBC reporter.
Reporters said to me yesterday, he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his words. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Get your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
The perception is there's a lot of theatrics happening out there.
Look, I like a little bit of strength. I'm not going to lie. It feels pretty good. Good. Arrest me, you bitch. By the way, he was definitely going to say these poor fucks, which
he was.
Look, respect. I would have said it. I would have been like, look, these poor sons of bitches. Like, come on, man.
Dude,
look,
the intentional, the pullback is intentional there. Like
100%. I'm a man of the people.
I will also point out for the record, Gavin Newsom knows this, and also so does Tom Homan, and so does Donald Trump. Todd Homan, a presidential appointee, and Donald Trump, the president, have no actual authority to like arrest anybody, much less the governor of a fucking state.
By the way, look, if you want to solidify the idea,
I'm saying if you want to lock up the fucking Democratic nomination right now, like go ahead and arrest Gavin Newsom.
Hey, here's a video. Here's a video of me going to fucking jail for my constituents. immigrants included. Yeah, everybody else, get the fuck off the stage. You're welcome. Yes. A hero's welcome. Thank you. Could you play?
So who's running for vice president?
Yeah, right. Who wants to be with me, right? Like, yes, my intro music will be Pomp and Circumstance. That is correct. Like, okay, all right, we got it. Yeah, so Tom Homan was like talking all this bullshit, like, we'll fucking arrest him and Bass. If they're talking shit, and then he did this video, he was like, yeah, I'm talking shit. Like, what's up, bitch? Like, I'm right here. You know where my address is. What's happening? And Tom Homan's like, we don't have any plans to arrest the governor.
Well, and not only that, he tried to play it off, like, because he was asked on MSNBC on Sunday about that, and they played that clip for him. And he's like, when I said that, like, MSNBC took something I said in a 20-minute interview and took it out of context, and that's the thing. And to the credit, the host that was there is like, yeah, MSNBC stands by our reporting on that. So, yeah, like, good job, you fucking fat thumb, you fat piece of shit.
By the way, Tom Homan is, from what I can tell, is a guy who drinks well into the evening, that the residual effects are still riding high on those morning interviews. I'm like, this guy feels and sounds like he's a little
Tom Homan looks like an internet tough guy. Like, it's funny, like, when Gavin Newsom just kept calling him tough guy, which, by the way, one of the best ways to just completely belittle someone in an authority position is just fucking derisively call them a tough guy several times. Like, that, for some reason, that just works amazing.
No, but you know what it is, right? That's the that's white guy tough talk, right? Like,
right.
calling like that's like corporate white guy tough talk.
Yeah,
that's corporate speak for bitch, right? It's like that's what it is. Hey, come and arrest me, tough guy. Like, if those were two black dudes, he'd be like, come and arrest me, you bitch. Like they would just say this shit, right? But because he has to be like corporate and all this other stuff, yeah, tough guy is corporate white guy speak for you're a bitch. And look, and I love it. I'm not mad at that. I like, I'm surprised he didn't just say, like, get a load of this guy. Like, that's like just like down ballot, like corporate white guy speaking. When you're ready to fucking, when you're ready to beef. So
he couldn't say that, because you can't, like, when you say that, you can't just say this guy. Like, that's where you do have to drop the F-bomb. You can't be just this guy. It's like, get a load of this fucking guy.
This fucking guy. So yeah, you got to throw down at that point. Look, my money's on Gavin Newsom. I feel like he's got the reach. I feel like he could take time. What's Tom Homan gonna do? What is he gonna do? Come on. That guy's liver is shot.
Actually, you know what? I'm curious about something. I don't mean to offend you personally with what I'm about to query, but
how tall is fucking Gavin Newsom?
I'm about to check how tall this time.
Fuck you, man.
He has short guy energy. What the fuck can I say? Oh, it's not. It's apparently it's unknown. That's unfortunate.
Nah, Tom Homan is 5'3". That's what I'm going with.
I don't like the fact that we can't find this. I feel like it's being hidden.
5'3", 375 pounds. Tom Homan.
Yeah, he does. He does have some fucking serious Napoleon energy going on. I'll tell you that. Right
no, he does. He definitely does.
Yeah.
All right. So the battle for Los Angeles is on. It's not much of a battle. It honestly, the battle quite literally is the narrative battle. That's really what it is, right?
Yeah.
LA is not on fire. LA is going to be fine. But I do like seeing people fight back, and I do like seeing people get in the streets. I do. And look, I'll say something that I would disagree. I'm disagreeing with old me. This is now present day Jay. For a long time in this situation, I did not want black people in the streets. I didn't. And I'll tell you why. Because the second we get in the streets, the violence amps up. And not because of us, but because the U.S. government they got a hard on for fucking fighting and beating the shit out of black people.
Right, it's like putting a fucking T-bone in front of a Rottweiler. Like,
right, they're like, well, black people are here? Hell yeah, bro, we've been waiting on y'all. Thank you. We can't beat on white people. That's crazy, dog. I mean, look, these Latin folks, I mean, they get the nightstick too. We like it, but we miss our old school friends, right? That type of shit. And so I didn't want black people in the street. I don't. And a lot of black people are like, nah, fuck that. Like, we voted correctly. I don't know what the fuck y'all were doing. Y'all go fix this shit. But let me tell you something. I'm glad to see white people in the street getting pissed, doing their thing, right? The white people who actually understand this shit is a problem, right? But the Latin folks who voted for this dumb shit, and they're all like, oh, what was us and everything else. More on that later. Fuck those people. But there are a lot of Latin folks who didn't vote for this shit, who are having their families torn apart, that are suffering the consequences of this horrendous shit. Black people and Latin folks are much closer than I think maybe some people want to admit. I think there are plenty of Black people who do admit that, no problem. Like, we fuck with Latin folks. We do. Like, that, those cultures fucking just mesh together, right? There's a lot of half Latin, half Black babies out there. Okay, a lot. We should not sit by. I didn't want us to be, no pun intended, the tip of the spear. It's just funny. You're not allowed to laugh at that, right?
I would not even draw that connection had you said no pun intended.
Right.
Get the fuck
of course you are. Get a load of this guy. But
this fucking guy.
But our communities are very tied together. I don't want to see them suffering by themselves in this, because I don't want to see us suffering by ourselves. But I think there may be coming a time. We'll see what happens after LA. But I think there may be coming a time now that sitting on the sidelines, and for good reason, by the way, that might need to end. And it's, look, and I'm gonna stand in a giant glass house. It is super easy for me to say because I'm not there. Okay, let me just point that out, because I don't like being a massive hypocrite. That being said, I will be in the United States in a couple months. And if there are protests during that time that I would be there, I will be there. Okay. So I do think so. I think maybe it is time for that solidarity to start, because what is happening in LA is not light bullshit. The 50-51 protests that were going around, the No Kings protests and things like that are happening and that were happening before. That's why people getting out in the front lines. Zero issues with it. Right? No problem with it. I do think you guys need to be down there, because this is a problem that you guys created that you need to fix. But this is different, because this LA shit didn't just happen because people were protesting in general. It is happening because people are having their families ripped the fuck apart. And it's very specifically their community. We are always at the tip of the spear in this type of shit. But in this case, we're not. And it's time for us to, I just personally believe it. And you could say, oh, I think you're wrong. It's okay. You don't have to agree with me. But I think sometimes we got to stand next to some people, and they do need that help. Because I think there is a really serious chance in moments like this that if you do not stand up, people will think that you don't give a fuck that it's happening. And it's not that Black people don't think that it's not a big deal that's happening. So I don't want that to happen, but that's not the reason I want people, Black folks, to start going to these events. I want them to start going because it is their country too. And it will not end with Latin folks. I talked about this last week. What happens when they're not just going to accept an ethno state with just, and then a cadre of Black people live here. They're not. That is not their idea. So before it gets there, I think there is a place that we need to be. So I will just end the conversation on that. I have a secret story. Brad, you don't know the story.
No, I don't. Can't wait.
Okay, I saw the title of your story, not the same story.
Okay, good.
This isn't so much a story as much as it's a bit of interesting bit of information. Okay. Mm-hmm. I am a numbers person. Brad, you know, I love statistics. I have a favorite statistic, if you will. That's a deep cut. But here is some shit that I find really disturbing, and this is a prime example of why voting matters. Really, really matters. Okay, 2020. Let's roll back. 2020, did a census, right? Mm-hmm. During that census, a bunch of data is collected. for people who don't know, they don't just use census data to be like, there's a bunch of people in the country. That's not what they use it for. They use it for funding.
It's literally used to determine congressional representation.
Congressional representation, funding for certain things, right? Like, the federal government, like, oh, we got to send these certain amount of dollars, and those things those funds are allocated sometimes based on race, sometimes based on socioeconomic situations, all sorts of stuff, right? But race is a big part of it, right? Well, back in March of this year, March of 2020 or March of 2025, the Census Bureau released something called the MARC files, MARC, M-A-R-C. And I'll link all of this. I didn't link it in the thing because I did not want you to read this ahead of time, but I will link all of this before we put this show up. So back in March of this year, they released something called the MARC files. The MARC files are an update to the way in which it was basically like a report of their analysis of the census, right? The MARC file stands for Modified Age and Race Census File. Methodology statement, right? That's what the whole document is. And I'll send this to you. So what they did is they went back to the 2020 census, and for under the guise, this is the Trump administration now, under the guise of sort of standardizing data, they went back retroactively to the 2020 census, right? And what they did was they decided that they were going to, what's the term? Reclassify people's race. Yeah. Now, they reclassified 47 million people's race out of the census. Yeah. And you can read this. This is a PDF file. They tell you. They reclassified 47 million people's race. Now, how did they reclassify it, you ask? Right?
Oh, I can only guess.
Okay. I want you to keep a year in mind as I'm telling you this.
Okay.
I want you to keep the year 2045 in mind. Do you know what the significance of that year is?
The significance of 2045, I believe, is the estimated date or the estimated year when America will cease to be a majority white country.
Bingo. Right? 2045. Remember that.
Yes.
So 47 million Americans have their race reclassified. By the way, is there a way for you to find out if your race was reclassified? No, not right now. Will there ever be?
If my suspicions are correct, you might not have to wonder real hard about it.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Okay.
So Brad, you will remain.
Before we get into it, my thought process would be they've probably gone from like 7 or 8 different races listed to a binary choice of white or non-white. Is what I'm thinking is the case here.
It's somehow worse than that.
Oh, good. Oh man, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to hear.
Shockingly, more nuance than that, but somehow the nuance absolutely evil and terrible. Okay? The multiracial population, 2 or more races, the multiracial population in 2020 when the census came out versus what the numbers are from the 2020 census after they did their MARC, you put out the SMART file methodology, it went from 33.8 million people to 14.6 million people. So where do they all go? And I'll tell you the other part of that statistic in a second. So here's the methodology. The methodology is this. They got pictures, and I'm reading the PDF. They got pictures, so it's easy to understand. So they have something called if you chose SOAR, which is some other race, right? That means if you picked, I'm black and white, I'm black and Asian, I'm Latin and and Asian or whatever, right? I think it says like there are 65 different combinations, right? Like like it's weird because it feels like very eugenics kind of thing. Like, why do you even know that? Like they're like calculated all the possible mixed people. It's like
kind of for the same reason how every libertarian knows the age of consent in every state in the country.
Exactly. Like, well, actually in Las Vegas, it's like I feel like I get it. Knowledge is power, but like some knowledge.
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't be able to just whip that one out on demand, man.
They're like, oh, we're whipping it out on demand. All right.
Yeah, at least pretend to Google it for my sake of mine,
please, and also get away from me. They said that there are 63 possible values with the 5 OMB categories. I guess those are like original race values, white, black, or African American, American Indian, and Alaska Native, Asian, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, right? So that's just that's everybody, right? There were 63 combinations of those, right? And of course that's silly because that would only imply if there was like probably biracial or maybe triracial, which again, it's like people are made up of more things, but okay. So again, if you chose on the 2020 census some other race, which was an option, or you chose multiple races, here's what would happen. Let's say you are a SOAR individual, right? Some other race. And you live in a house with somebody who is, if you are some other race and another race, right? So if you said, I'm some other race, like, as they said, American Indian and Alaska Native, and you were some other race, then they just eliminate some other race, and then you're just American Indian and Alaska Native. They just gone. Some other race gone. If you choose some other race by itself, right? Like my wife, who is biracial, right? She's Indian and white. If she picks some other race, which she probably did, I don't know, but she probably did, and I'm her husband, and I'm black, which I am, then on the census, we're both black. Eliminating her entire fucking line. Gone.
Right. She's not black at all.
She is now. Gone.
according to the U.S. government.
Yeah, no, she's black. So Dr. Umar, you can't be mad at me. My wife's black. That's fine.
Okay.
That's insane, right? But that also means my daughter, who is biracial, but that also means my daughter is black. Right? Boom. Adult male, black, boom, done. If the roles were reversed and I was biracial and my wife is, let's say, just Indian, then I'm Indian then. Doesn't matter. Like, whoever's the pure blood, that's what you are, which is insane, right? If you are some other race alone and there's no information from a household member is available, then they use information from administrative data from that individual. So they go, hey, we don't, this person didn't fill out, your husband didn't fill out the census. We have no idea who the fuck this guy, we know like who lives there, right? Because by the way, it doesn't have to be your spouse, just someone else who lives in the home, which is also fucking insane. Oh, we looked in their Medicare records. They're Asian. You're Asian. Like, but I'm black and Latino.
I'm just trying to figure out what, like, are they just trying to juice the white numbers back up again, basically? Like,
it's funny that you asked, Brad.
Yeah.
Because that was the other statistic I was waiting to tell you. The white remember, multiracial population went from 33.8 million to 14.6
down to 14, right?
White population rose by over 40 million.
Man, I got to tell you,
remember that year, 2045. Why on earth are you so obsessed with increasing the white population?
I have to point out that even when for people that give a shit about this, couldn't be me. You should. Couldn't. No. I'm saying could, like, from the right wing side of it, like people that care about this for some reason, could not be me. Oh. You do realize that even if whites aren't the majority race in 2045, they would still be like yeah, exactly. Like there would still be more white people than of any other race in this country. Yeah. Fun historical fact for you, apropos of nothing. I just want to remind people that when the Nazis were trying to determine how to classify people as Jewish during the Third Reich, they looked to American Jim Crow laws, specifically the one-drop rule. And the Nazis said, well, that's too extreme for us.
Yeah, no, that's actually true.
just throwing that out there. Throwing that out there. I mean, apropos of nothing. So.
Yeah. Even the Nazis were like, Jesus Christ, take it easy, guys. Take it easy. But there's a fourth point. If on that 2020 census you marked some other race alone, and there's no other information, there's nobody else that they can get information for. This is where it gets fucking super crazy. If you checked some other race alone and no information is available from administrative records, then they apply a statistical model that uses age, Hispanic origin, and group quarters type to make a prediction based on the population within the state with similar characteristics. So they just guess and just
even
make
though they have information to the contrary. We're like, we're going to work to make this. I mean, really, and I'm saying this tongue in cheek, but this is probably actually the motivating factor behind it. We're just going to work very hard to make the census less accurate.
Yeah. And by the way, in their document, that first part of the methodology was like an American Indian, a Native Alaskan, and someone who said some other race, and then it said, oh, they're American Indian and Alaska Native, right? The second one was some other race and Black or African American alone. They both become Black. Third one, some other race alone, and then they get your data, and then they make that person Asian. The fourth one that I just read that was basically the fucking guess. Gee, it's so weird that their example makes that person into a white person. They're telling you right the fuck there. They're fucking telling you, dude. They could have picked any race. And they were just like, well, no, I mean, statistically, obviously, just add another white person.
Just want to remind people that the next census is scheduled to be happening in the year 2030. Might be to our benefit to make sure that not Republicans are in charge of administering that.
Correct. So. And that this methodology is called out and destroyed. This is insane, guys. And remember, this isn't the census like, oh, we just did one 6 weeks ago, so it's like all of our data. They retroactively went back and cut the numbers down. So again,
their own data, by the way, because Trump was president when this shit happened, was collected to begin with.
That's correct. So this idea that both parties are the same is fundamentally not correct. And people who say that are not informed. And this type of thing, this is what racism really is. Because yes, yelling the N-word at people or denying people jobs, those are real. But this is the shit that moves the fucking needle, man. Because yelling at somebody or denying them a job, yeah, it might help. Might help racists. They're like, yeah, we didn't fucking get that guy a job. That was great. But this type of shit is like, let's keep white people as the majority in this country for as long as we can, even though it's only narratively different. But they gave more than 40 million people over to that side. By the way, you shouldn't be surprised by this. Mm-hmm. And the reason why you shouldn't be surprised by this, look how they try to dice up Latin folks when you talk about race on any form. What type are you Hispanic? But are you this type of Hispanic? Why?
Right.
Why?
Are you white Hispanic or are you brown Hispanic? Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because if you say Hispanic, you don't want it. We don't need a big block of non-white people. That's crazy, right? And look, granted, there are Hispanics who look fucking white. Like, this is true, right? Hello, I live in Mexico. There are people who look as dark as me and darker, and there are people who look as white as you. I showed you a picture from Thanksgiving. You were like, That guy is from Boston? I was like, no, that guy is born and bred in Mexico. Right? Like, 100%. Like, he ain't never left here, right? Like, it's just crazy. He sounds like Antonio Banderas and, looks like Tom Homan. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? But there is a reason they dice it up. Because they want to keep the white population afloat. They do. But this is when I read this, I saw a video on Instagram, and I mentioned that because this is important. I saw a video on Instagram, this woman talking about it, and I'm like, this implication is so fucking insane. This can't be real. But I can't just like move away from this because if it is real, like that's a really big deal. And I'm like, I had a chance to sit down and I'm like Googling around, I'm like, oh shit, this shit is real. Like this is 100% accurate. If you don't think that this can touch you, you're wrong. Like I told my wife about this and she said, well, that's fucked up because, I mean, well, yeah. But I said, you know, she was like, my sister, who is biracial, and my brother, who is biracial, who would all put some other race or multiracial, but they're both married to white people. So then they all become white. And so now it's not their Indian heritage is destroyed, like by the American government. It's just completely destroyed. And all of their kids are too. So now there's just a white husband and wife and white ass kids, and that's it. So, hey, there's just a bunch of white people in the country. Like, you just eliminated, like, all of these people. Like, they look white to me. They don't, though. Okay, they don't. So, it's just...
Dude, if only we could be so advanced as a country to be able to think of ourselves as Americans, as opposed to divided by racial lines.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. So since we aren't going to do that, can we just be honest and like people look different? Yeah, it'd be cool if it was like the population is the population, and why don't we just do proper funding for everybody so people have a chance? Like, here's a paper bag. Let us know how that works out.
Like, more money for whiteys. Look at all the whiteys that we got here. We need more money for whites.
Yeah.
So
no bites for whites. As I said on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and no snacks for blacks to be even. I fucking love that shit. Yeah, so that's my secret story, and it's really fucking sad.
I mean, that's a hell of a story, and again, like this, to your point, like this is the kind of shit that even like people that are keyed into politics, like I think understand what the census is, but even people that are keyed in, I don't think understand why the census is important.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of shit that it's really easy to fly under the radar. I hadn't heard about this. You wouldn't have heard about it. Right. Like you wouldn't have heard about it unless you stumbled upon it. And it's something that the news isn't going to cover because you have to have a fucking 30-minute conversation like we just had about it to understand the context and the nuance behind it. So,
yeah. No, look, I'll tell you right now. That's a Rachel Maddow A-Block story. And I feel like I should fucking send it to her, but like,
you
have
should.
you seen this?
You should send it to her.
Yeah, you should. Seen this? This is fucked up.
100%. Yeah.
You know,
make sure she shouts us out.
Be like, shout out to Look Forward. Like, yeah. We took information we learned on an Instagram video and then like Googled it a little bit more. But look, I mean, I honestly, I say that, I mean, shout out to the woman on Instagram. That was great. I don't have her name, unfortunately. But that's why a lot of this shit that you see, there's a lot of people doing good work, man. So if something seems like, wow, that's fucking crazy, fucking read up on it. Just be like, oh shit, like this is real. Because some people say some bullshit and you're like, that feels not real. And it probably isn't real. But no, 100% accurate, man. 100% accurate. This is fucking wild. So there you go. Yeah, let's jump into.
I'm gonna say we probably have to dance around because this is the first two stories on the docket tonight have taken up the majority of our time. So if we have to record again later this week, if some shit kicks off, we might revisit some of these other stories.
All right. So basically, I'll just quickly say this. I'm not even going to play the clip, although I have it. Tom Homan is asked on, I think, MSNBC, and they're like, hey, so do all these people that you're arresting, do they all have criminal records? He's like, no.
Yeah, no shit. I can't believe he said it. Like, I was just like that's, you know, that's the reaction. That's like, man, I worked on this story for 18 months and he just tweeted it.
He just tweeted it.
Like, that's right.
I forgot that was a fucking meme for a while. Like, Trump just tweeted it out. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
This was going to be my Pulitzer. Like, no, I did that shit. Like, oh, fuck. God damn it. Amazing. Gavin Newsom floats the idea of withholding federal tax dollars in California because the Trump administration's like, hey, we're going to pull all funding from California. Like, we're just going to pull it from all, California colleges and all this other shit. And so he's basically like, listen, we give you guys $80 billion in federal dollars, in federal tax revenue, right? Like, California is a donor, is considered a donor.
By the way, just I didn't realize to the degree.
It's significant
of the disparity here.
Yeah.
First of all, Maryland is like the second biggest.
Yeah, all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Under Texas, man. Texas.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, that's curious. That's curious.
I bet you there's like some DC reason that.
Well, Bethesda takes a lot of money because of NIH.
Well, because the only state that takes more than us is Virginia.
Yeah, it must be like federal buildings or something like that.
There has to be some DC related reason. I find it very hard to believe that Maryland is just like living high off the fucking government teat. But anyway, I knew that California was the biggest like contributor of federal dollars. Right. I did not realize that the next closest state, New Jersey in this case, contributes less than a third of what California contributes.
Yeah. California
on an annual basis. Beast. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, and one, there are so many people in California. Like so many. So but also this idea of like, we don't need California, we got fucking Texas. Texas is a massive taker state.
Right.
It's almost at the bottom.
I would argue they're at the bottom, considering that again, there has to be like some federal government related reason that Maryland and Virginia are above them,
right?
But Texas takes about $65 billion, $70 billion a year. Basically, California subsidizes the state of Texas, if you want to look at it for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it's
so. I say to Gavin Newsom, yeah, do it. Like again, as I've been saying, fighting Republicans, we got to start fighting fire with fucking flamethrowers. Like they want to talk shit and they want to fucking threaten to pull funding this side or the other. Cool, cut it off for a month.
So
and see what happens.
Okay, so here's the thing, and some people have floated this idea, which I think is actually a really good one, which is, why don't you build a system that puts those federal dollars in escrow, right? Mm-hmm. And so instead of those dollars going directly to the federal government, they drop into this bucket of this escrow bucket, and they're held there. It's like, all right, y'all talking shit, then it stays there. Y'all leave us the fuck alone, and it goes. Now, by the way, people were like, all states should do that, and it would actually give states more power over the federal government. And I'm like, it's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah. But also I'm looking at this chart. There's only like 10 states that could do that. Right. Are donors. Yeah.
What's Mississippi going to do? We got a nickel in here, motherfucker. You want it? Like, no, not really. We're good.
Now that being said, and I'm not saying this like Gavin Newsom can snap his fingers and do it. Like, I'm sure if he did try to do this, they would get sued into oblivion immediately. Like it would absolutely have to go through a court battle. But I am saying, like, again, like if these guys want to fucking use mob tactics against us, then fucking use mob tactics against them. Right. Like that's all I'm going to tell you. So
by the way, reason Maryland takes so much in federal from the federal government, high federal employment. That's a big part of it. Many federal offices.
Oh, so they're counting wages in that as well?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's
NSA, NIH, right FDA, Census Bureau, Department of Defense facilities are all located in Maryland.
Right, FBI.
Right. Military and defense spending. We've got Fort Meade, Andrews Air Force Base, and Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Right. Again, research and health institutions, NIH. Yeah, I mean the Bethesda campus is fucking massive. Like it is.
Then that makes all the sense in the world as to why.
Right.
As to why.
So yeah, it's a big. It does make sense because it's just like you said, it's proximity to DC shit. So yeah, no, Texas, you're at the bottom. Get the fuck out of here because Virginia's worse, right? Like, I mean, yeah, it makes total sense. All right, from there, this is interesting. Kilmar Abrego Garcia returns to the U.S. Yay, that's awesome. Fucking hell yeah. But wait, there's more. He was immediately charged with human trafficking.
Sure. You know what? Fine. Let them prove it in court.
Go to court.
Good job. Let's see you make it stand up, you dumb fucking idiots.
Do you know why he's being charged with this?
No, I didn't read it. I thought they were just ginning up something to just use against him. So.
No, they are. Okay, so that part's correct. I want to see how many seconds it takes Brad to draw the exact same argument that I've made. Okay, I'll be totally honest of what my argument is if you nail it. They are charging him with human trafficking because they are making the argument that over the course of a number of years, he helped get people who cross the border into deeper parts of the U.S., right? Some of them being MS-13 gang members or whatever. So he is helping move illegal immigrants throughout the country, spreading.
Hang on. Did he just help some buddies move house or something like that, or move their shit, or let them stay with them?
They're just saying any immigrants. I don't know if they're friends.
Okay. What? Okay.
So here's my immediate response. Moving immigrants around the country is illegal because those people are illegal. So you're like a weird, domestic coyote type of thing. So when are you guys going to arrest Greg Abbott? Because that's what he does by putting immigrants on buses and driving them to New York or driving them into other blue states. Why? That would be my number. If I'm him, I'm like, hey, lawyer, make that argument. What the fuck are we talking about? Right. That guy literally did the same thing. I thought it was okay. Is it not okay? By the way, I didn't do it, but I just think it's curious that you're bringing this up. It's bullshit. Okay, human trafficking, because they're he was trafficking, young kids and stuff like that. I was like, one, if he's helping move people into deeper parts of the country to get them off of the border, you're just saying human trafficking because that sounds salacious. That's not what human trafficking is. It's not. They're not going against your will. He's not bringing hookers in container trucks. That's not what's happening. Again, I'm fine if you want to go after the guy for this. I mean, it's just trumped up nonsensical charges, but go to court and prove it. By the way, I know that they don't have a case because they're this has been happening for years. Abrego Garcia. Pam Bondi said, this is his full-time job. He's not a contractor. This is his full-time job. Which I feel like saying he's not a contractor is a subtle dig on the Home Depot thing, which is kind of dickish. But here's my thing. If you had that information, why didn't you share that until recently? First, last week, he was a domestic abuser. That was a super big deal, even though those charges never came to
Remember when JD Vance said that it was okay to deport him because he had some traffic citations? Yeah. He had some speeding tickets. Right.
So it went from our bad to speeding tickets to he's an MS-13 member because look at the very real image with the numbers written out, texted. Then he was he's a wife beater, and now he's Mexican Greg Abbott. Or excuse me, Venezuelan Greg Abbott. Pick one. By the way, they were Tom Homan made the argument that, or was it Tom Homan or Pam Bondi? I can't remember. But they were making the argument that the gang that he was afraid was going to hurt him, well, they're no longer a gang, so it's not a big deal. That's not an argument. That's not an argument. What the fuck are we talking about? That's not an argument.
This probably doesn't even make it to the trial. I can't imagine.
But I think it's supposed to be Friday. So it's start Friday.
No, I mean that might be like an arraignment, but I'm saying like actually like having a trying him. I highly doubt it if that's what they're going to charge him with. So we'll see.
I mean, here's the thing, bro. If you get off, I would just leave. I would. If me and my family were out, man. Like, fuck this. Like, this is what I want to deal with. Fuck no. Fuck no. I'm out. Fuck no.
I think we can skip the wretched hive of scum and villainy stuff. Basically, like the gist of those stories is because ICE doesn't identify themselves and they run around wearing masks, you'll be shocked to know that people are now impersonating ICE agents and stealing money from people and shit like that.
Yeah, that was the first story.
Right, the inevitable outcome.
Yep. The other ones quickly is, and actually this is actually kind of an interesting story. There was a guy who got busted for armed robbery, I believe. And, and so what he did was he wrote fake death threat letters to Donald Trump, posing as his Latin neighbor so that his Latin neighbor would get deported.
To what end?
Why? Because the Latin neighbor was going to testify against him.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. And they were like, this guy's trying to kill Trump. It was like a big deal. It was like, well, this guy is actually just, it was a white guy. They're like, oh, it was all a lie. Our bad. Let's just bury the story. Yeah. And then they broke up a birthday party and said everybody was a part of Tren de Aragua. And turns out it was a bunch of little kids. So, cool. And then they stole a woman away from her fucking infant when she had just given birth to it. Wow. Cool. Oh, someone hit your car with a rock? I can't imagine why. Fast corruption and faster screw-ups this week. RFK Jr. Fires entire vaccine advisory board at the CDC. Hey, Brad, have you gotten your booster yet?
No, probably need to. This is fucking horrendous. Also inevitable. Also, shout out to Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, a former doctor who was real skeptical about RFK Jr., but ultimately ended up voting for him. And in the speech announcing why he had decided to vote for him, he specifically said that he was doing it because RFK pledged to make no changes to this specific committee. Good job, Bill Cassidy. Can't believe you fell for it.
You dumb bastard. You poor fuck.
By the way, had he not voted to approve Kennedy out of committee, RFK would not be health secretary. So
you think that they go home at night and they're like,
if they have a conscience, yeah.
Okay, so no then.
I'm saying is like whether that's true or not is absolutely debatable.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know who would be responsible for this, and I don't even know if it's still active. I really hope, based on this, somebody strips Bill Cassidy of his medical license, because I don't think he's fit to practice medicine.
Yeah, no, that feels right. I don't hate that. Kristi Noem praised Donald Trump for sending National Guard into LA. Of course, she opposed that idea when Biden had considered it. She said that it was, basically like he would have a war on his hands if he had
massive overreach. By the way, Trump today apparently gave this like rousing speech in front of a bunch of Air Force members in Fort Bragg, which was really fucking sickening. Like basically like laying out his political grievances in front of these and like coaxing these dudes to fucking cheer, which is really fucking gross. I remember during the campaign when Biden, I don't remember what the speech was about, but Biden gave a speech about something and just happened to have two Marine Corps members in the background while the speech and got fucking excoriated by Republicans for how dare you politicize the military? This is bullshit. This is, again, two sets of rules depending on the party. The Democrats have to be perfect and be the adults in the room, and Republicans can just do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, not a big deal.
In this speech, Trump literally was like, "Here are my least favorite Democrats," and like name names, and they're all just like, "Boo! Fucking fuck that guy." It's like, okay, guys, all right. Like, are you doing it because you actually agree with the president, or are you doing it because you just think that's what the president wants to hear? There's no difference, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're high-fiving a Nazi, you're a Nazi. Like, no, just doing it so that guy wouldn't feel alone. Nope. You're a Nazi now. Like that, what is it? What do you call a guy sitting at a table with, 10 Nazis? Like,
a Nazi.
11 Nazis. Like
Right.
that's what you would call that table. Like 11 Nazis. It's just, it doesn't work that way. So if you cheer on that shit, fuck you. Because again, rules for me, rules for thee, not for me. And it's just like, why are there two sets of rules? Like, I would love to have a real conversation with someone like Jake Tapper. Like, why do you guys do this? Oh, I don't think we do this. Like, roll the videotape.
Right, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Right, like, you guys do not call balls and strikes. Why are you so afraid of it? I know why. I know what the real answer is, which is you're so afraid of being called biased. Here's an idea. They can call you biased anyway.
And by the way, we see and it's again, but dude, you can't trust the national media anymore. You can't. Like, again, between this shit, between the Jake Tapper shit. Also, if people, we don't have it on the docket, but the Terry Moran story, I don't know if people followed that at all. So basically, Terry Moran, reporter for ABC, put on his personal Twitter, basically just kind of railing, speaking truth about Stephen Miller, but basically saying that, Stephen Miller is a fucking world-class hater and, like he's a fucking miserable piece of shit. Not in so many words. Like, he kept it very professional. ABC suspended him after the Trump administration complained about his bias. And then today they fired him. And ABC seems to think that, this will keep him safe. No, it's just opening you up to more attacks because now they know that you'll pay the protection money. You did it before when you paid the $15 million to settle the Stephanopoulos lawsuit. Now they're telling you who you can and can't have as reporters at your bureau. By the way, Terry Moran, the same guy in that White House interview who called Trump out to his face about the MS-13 tattoo bullshit. When Trump was like, just say what I want you to say, Terry. Like, you remember that whole fucking fiasco? Yeah. Same guy. So
how about look, here's another example of that. Columbia University. Have you heard of the new shit with them?
Yeah.
They fucking bent the knee. Oh, yeah. Fucking, yes, sir. What did he come back with last week? Hey, we're going to remove your accreditation. What was the purpose of bending the fucking knee? You got down on your knees, and you know what he did? Instead of going, that's a good little boy. You know what he did? He pulled his pants down and pissed in your face. Now you look like idiots. Look what we gave up. Oh, what did we win? Losing accreditation. We didn't sign up for that. Well, it's too late now. Were you going to stand up? You going to stand back up now? No, you're not. Because you let your school be run by lawyers instead of somebody with a pair of fucking balls to be like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Because you're still jealous about us not wanting to buy your fucking building 25 fucking years ago. Yeah. That's where that fight comes from, by the way.
Again, those law firms that fucking kowtow to him, all of a sudden can't find attorneys that want to work for him. Shocking.
Why would you want to? Hey, sure. I'm a fucking prosecutor. I want to go fucking fight this case. Well, are they related to Trump? I don't know if we want to do that. Yeah. He's not going to be around forever, but your reputations will be. Mm-hmm. And that's what you need to remember. Like, ABC, CBS, NBC, any of these other channels, if you bend the knee to this guy, he is going to walk all over you. And the second he learns that he can do it, they're going to do it again. And they're going to do it again. Bro, have you guys seen an 80s fucking movie before? Like, this shit is...
But that's what I'm saying. Based on what we have seen, I'm telling you right here, you cannot trust ABC's reporting. You can't at this point.
Yeah, you're right.
Based on facts and evidence, you cannot trust them to be impartial and to call and to speak truth to what's going on.
They're scared.
Right.
Look, I'm not mad, or I understand being afraid. Right? I do understand. I legitimately do, because if I'm ABC, what is my biggest fear? Is that this guy pulls my license to be on television.
Sure.
Right? That, like, he's vindictive enough to do that. So I understand it. However, I take that fight.
Yeah.
Because if you go down,
you're backed by fucking Disney. You'll be fine.
Right, cool. ABC's gone. Guess what it's on? It's on streaming. And if I'm Disney, I'm making my own ABC platform and I'm throwing the fucking hammer at that shit. Let's go to work, baby. Who we hiring? Let's hire some. Like, you think it's bad now as a right-wing fucking piece of shit? Can you imagine ABC with the amount of money and name that it has and Disney's money and name that it has? Can you imagine if they were unmoored from the fucking rules? Hey, we're going to give you billions of dollars, and here's your job, is to kick the shit out of this guy 24 hours a day, 7 days. Don't even report on anything else. We just want you to dig in and just destroy this guy from every fucking aspect you can get your hands on. Take the fight. Take the fight. Guess what? You take that fight. You fight hard as fuck. You fucking destroy this guy as much as you can. Yeah, you're not going to make as much money, whatever. And you keep that fight going. And then, hopefully, when psychos are no longer in power, you go, hey, can we get our fucking shit back? This is fucking ridiculous. And they'll be like, yeah, because what the fuck? Like, why would we do that? Right? No president outside of maybe J.D. Vance wants to keep that dumb shit going. They don't. They don't have the balls for that shit. You think, like, Democrats are always scared of Fox News because they're just like, they fucking harp on shit. We've not seen a liberal version of that.
Right.
You've not. But I think if you took one of those guys off air, especially if they're owned by something like Disney, you fucking would. Because they would, look, corporations are a lot of things and they love money, but they also like vengeance. Okay. They don't like to be wronged. They don't like to be wronged. They don't. I mean, look at places even like Fox News. You fuck with them, they will throw all of their efforts behind you to try to destroy you. They will. This is a fundamental, and that's not an ideological thing. It's just that they're a corporation. Like, oh, bitch, we're fighting for our lives over here. Like, so we're gonna fucking all knives out, right? Take the fight. 9 times out of 10, you end in a stalemate anyway. Like him
ends a stalemate, and you
like,
come out looking better from a PR standpoint, from a user, from a viewer trust standpoint, like all this other shit. Because trust me, they're not looking like we're not looking to look at the news channel who's kowtowing to dear leader. Yeah, I mean. And by the way, ABC, it's not like fucking right wingers are going to be flocking to you. Like, oh, look, they're paying fealty to the president. Like, we will now watch their program. No, they're watching Fox, man. They're watching OAN. They're watching fucking Newsmax. Right. They're not coming to ABC. Get the fuck out of here.
Ever.
Yeah.
So take the fight. Look, it's the lesson that Gavin Newsom has learned. Take the fight. Like, oh, they're talking shit. All right, cool. Fucking get a load of this fucking guy. Like, take the fight. Like, if you take the fight, like every other bully, they go, I don't really like the fight, though.
Especially this administration.
They don't.
Every time they get punched in the mouth, they fucking recoil. Every single time.
Take the fight.
Because they're fake tough guys.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. That's 100% correct. So, yeah. I just don't understand the idea of being like, oh, I'm afraid of them. The fuck for? Walk up to that guy and say it right to his fucking face. Arrest me, you bitch. Excuse me. Tough guy? like yeah, sure, man. It's awesome. I just found this to be a funny story. Pete Hegseth had fired all of these like advisors and shit like that. They literally just cannot find senior advisors who want to work with him because he is so fucking incompetent. They're just like, I'm good.
Oh boy, the most predictable thing ever.
Yeah,
happened.
No thanks. All right,
good
next
job.
up. What's dumber, a brick or a Republican? This is a funny story. I titled this, "In fairness to me, I'm an idiot." Latinas for Trump founder now condemns White House deportation agenda. Quote, not what we voted for.
Oh, but it is. But it is. Oh, but it is. Did you not catch the fucking white old woman from Alabama at the RNC holding up the like that fucking viral image, the mass deportation sign?
Yeah.
Did you miss out on that one?
Matt, when she says mass deportation, she doesn't mean moi and moi's friends. Yeah, no, that's what she means. Here's the thing about this. I get that you're sad that people that look like you are being brutally removed from the country and things like that. I even get being dumb enough to buy into all the bullshit of like, oh, well, you clearly wasn't talking about us. We're good people, right? I get being that dumb. I'm not that dumb, but I've seen it done, right? So I can understand that you people exist. Here is the thing that I have a problem with. You don't get to just talk about why this is not a good idea and this is not something people voted for and everything else. You don't get to do that without doing something first, which is apologizing and admitting that you're wrong. I am so sick and tired of watching these idiots.
You were really searching through the
I was like,
through the lexicon there.
bitch ass motherfuckers. Like I am tired of seeing these people go on mainstream news organizations and be treated as if, well, yeah, you got it wrong. Let's just move forward. What's your criticism? Nah, man. No. Because you didn't get it wrong. You ignored all of the fucking giant blaring red sirens and red flags, and all the other people paying attention told you what was going on, and you laughed at people, you ignored them, you belittled them, and then you sold your people for a fucking bill of goods so you could stand next to this fucking fat piece of shit, Donald Trump, and say, look how special I am. So no, I don't care that that's not what you voted for. One, it is what you voted for.
I'm about to say that's what I was going to say. I never again want to hear the phrase from any right winger, this isn't what we voted for. Yes, it fucking is.
Yeah.
All of the rest of us saw it, heard it.
Yeah.
Told
we
you.
get to say that. We did not vote for this. You absolutely did.
Yeah.
But I don't like
ignorance. Ignorance is willful or otherwise is not an excuse. Sorry.
No.
I didn't think he'd actually go through with it. That's a fucking you problem then, dude. Don't fucking complain to me.
Yeah.
Complain to him.
And look, and he'll tell you. He said it. Like, they did sign up for this agenda when they voted for me. Like, he says that. But he's not wrong. Like, you did. Yeah. Like, that's what you voted for. Look, he's not changing what he said. He's not. Like, you may not like it, but in this case, he's being very honest. Mass deportations does not mean mass deportation of criminals only, where other rights reserved. No. He said, if you came into this country, I'm going to get you the fuck out of here. That's why we didn't vote for him. So I'm not
among many other reasons.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't support pedophiles either. I would say allegedly, but I'm not. Ask Elon. But I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that ability to just be like, I'm just going to sidestep and we're just going to have this other conversation. No. You have to go on TV, in my opinion, and apologize to all the Latin folks that you are in community with of what you did. You need to do that. But they won't. And nobody ever holds them accountable. If that fucking person, if this woman came on my TV show or on my podcast, they'd be like, oh, I'm fucking the founder of Latinas for Trump, and I'm real sorry. I'd be like, let me stop you right there. I'm going to need an apology. Are you sorry for what you did? Would you do it again? Because if you say, oh, this is terrible, but I would vote for him again, click, you're done. I don't want to have a conversation with you because you're not remorseful at all. And I don't think this woman is remorseful. She doesn't want to be associated
she's upset
with what's going on now.
She doesn't want to have to own the consequences of her actions. And this is the one thing that she's pissed off about. All the other bullshit that's happening, I'm sure she doesn't give two fucks about.
Yeah. But this is the big one. This is the big dog, right? Like, this is the thing. Mass deportations was a sign they were holding. They weren't holding, work with Elon Musk. That's not what they were holding, right? No. This is the bread and butter. So
literally pre-printed them, the RNC did, and passed them out to everybody.
And they couldn't wait to hold them up.
Oh, they could. They were fucking all about it. You kidding me?
Woo!
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait for all of our fruits and vegetables to rot because there's nobody to pick them.
Yeah. We're gonna deport 15 million people. Really, you think there's 15 million people who are criminals? Who are here legally? Yeah. Okay.
All of them are.
Cool.
So no, I do not accept your apology. No, dig deeper. And when you find a real apology, you should make it public. And when you find that,
I'll go one step further. I'll go one step further. I don't really care if you do apologize. You fucked up. Exit stage left. Let somebody else fucking take a crack at it.
No. I want her to apologize because I want her to publicly debase herself. And then, much like what happens with Republicans, they go, or institutions to Donald Trump, after you finish debasing yourself, they're like, "Did I do a good job?" And he goes, "Excuse me while I whip this out," and then he pisses on your face. That's what I want for her politically. And maybe personally, I don't really know her thing, depending on what she's into. But that's between her and whatever gross MAGA man she's married to. So those people are all freaks. So I don't accept this as like, let's just move on past it. No. Apologize. All right, this one's all you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. So your political bay.
This. I have not.
Yeah, your political bay, director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, the cult lady herself. Jay, you know the tough part about classified documents and intelligence work and stuff like that. There's just so many fucking pages that actual people have to actually read to be able to see like what's classified and what isn't. You know what would be way easier? Is if we could use the modern tools and advancements of our time to be able to do this work for us. And that's exactly what the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is doing, who said in front of a technology conference that she is feeding classified documents, including
think of that. Jesus Christ.
Including reports about the JFK assassination and the RFK assassination to determine what in those reports actually still need to be classified.
Wait. Okay, one, you're putting it into AI, which is a fucking public repository, dude.
Yeah. Congratulations, Tulsi Gabbard. You have just declassified the JFK assassination report in its entirety.
Also, what I have to do is be like, so what's the, which one do you use? Like, I use ChatGPT. Okay, thanks a lot.
Right.
Jesus Christ. So not only did you dump it into a public repository, which is really unbelievably stupid, you're asking it what should be classified?
Yeah. Based on, again, these language models are only good as good as the data that they have been fed previously. So unless they've been, so I guess that's why they have to feed it all this classified information so it can learn.
Right? How else is it
what's classified and what isn't? Holy shit, dude! When I saw this, I'm just like, oh my god!
They're all dumb. They're all dumb. All of them. Jesus Christ! What the fuck? Why would you? Okay. Good night, everybody. Like, I don't know what to say to that. Holy shit, that is unbelievably stupid.
Yeah.
Gabbard said AI programs, when used responsibly, can save money and free up intelligence offices to focus on gathering and analyzing information.
I would argue that this is not a responsible use of it.
It is not. It is not.
Shit, fucking storing classified documents in your resort bathroom is arguably more secure.
Right, Donald Trump
than feeding it into a large language model. Holy shit,
dude, that is wow,
incredible.
Yeah, no, that is, you fucking nailed it. Like, that is amazing. That's no notes. Like, I cannot believe someone would do that. Wow. Wow. Holy shit. That was your secret story.
Yeah.
Did not disappoint. So there you go. We're 2 for 2.
No, I was so like I said, it certainly threw me for a loop when I fucking saw it. So
Jesus.
Good job. Again, the director of intelligence for the country.
Holy shit. Okay, that is it for us.
Remember when Progressive said that she was the one that back in 2019?
Oh yeah, people were like, no, she's the choice. Like,
yeah,
are you sure?
She's got some really good economic ideas. Like, yeah, she also has some really fucking weird cultish ideas too. She also has a weird boner for Syria and Bashar al-Assad. Yeah,
well, that's very true. Wow, I cannot believe that's a real thing. Wow. We got to get out of here because I think like blood is going to shoot out of my fucking, is that like my brain is dying realizing that. Like that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Wow. All right. She is something fucking else. Just a cornucopia of geniuses over there.
Yep.
All right. That's it for us, guys. We will see you next week with another episode.
Hopefully next week. Fuck. Like I hope we don't have to fucking emergency
just like
pod
dig back into
week.
Crates, man. Like good lord.
Yeah.
Please no. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.